Okay, going to the exercise 3.4, okay, it says that it has a few questions regarding that all the shapes that you have studied. And what are all the possible shapes that we have studied? We have studied about the quadrilaterals, okay. We have studied about the quadrilaterals being a rectangle, a square, a rhombus, and a kite shape and a trapezium are the ones. Another one we have studied is a parallelogram. Okay, these are all the ones that we have studied in here. Now the properties of all of these that you have learned will be assessed in here. So the first one says that all rectangles are squares. What is a rectangle? Rectangle may opposite sides will be equal, isn't it? The opposite sides will be equal, but in a square you are aware that only the square would actually look like this. But in a square that you are aware that all sides will be equal. So this is a false statement. Okay, what is it? It is going to be a false statement. Going to the next question in here, it says that all rhombuses are parallelograms. Yes, rhombus is a parallelogram. Why? Because how is a rhombus formed? It is formed something like this. This side is parallel to this one, this side is parallel to this one, so it is becoming like a parallelogram. So the answer for this one will be true. Going to the third question in here, the third question says all squares are rhombuses. Yes, I have a square. If I tilt this, I get a rhombus. All sides are equal. All squares are rhombuses. Square is a rhombus. Okay. We are very much happy with it. Then what does it say? And also rectangles. Also rectangle. Yes, it is a rectangle. A square can also be a rectangle. Here there is a catch. अभी आप लोग बोलोगे कि अभी तो आपने बोला rectangle cannot be a square. हाँ मैंने कहा rectangle can't be a square but a square can be a rectangle. Square को rectangle बनने के लिए क्या चाहिए? Opposite sides equal चाहिए. हाँ opposite sides equal है. Okay. ये 3 सेंटीमीटर है तो ये भी 3 सेंटीमीटर है. अगर ये 3 सेंटीमीटर है तो ये भी 3 सेंटीमीटर है. 4 साइड्स है, 4 साइड्स है, 4 एंगल्स है, 4 एंगल्स है, 90 डिग्री है, 90 डिग्री है. सो दिस इज़ वॉट इज़ इनफ फॉर अस टू हैव the fact that all squares can be rectangles and can be rhombuses, but they cannot be, would you say, they cannot be vice versa. That means a rectangle can't be a square, but a square can be very lawfully be a rectangle, is what we study here. So this is going to be a true statement. Going for the fourth statement in here, it says that all squares are not parallelograms. Sorry, a square is a parallelogram. This side is parallel to this one, this side is parallel to this one. They are very much parallelograms. So he's saying that are not parallelogram. Not parallelogram means it will be wrong. So this turns out to be a false statement. The next one is all kites are rhombuses. All kites. Kite, what is the shape of a kite? Kite is this shape is a kite, right? So kite, is it equal to the rhombus? No, it is not. If you can look at, because in here the adjacent sides are equal, but in a rhombus all 4 sides are equal, so they cannot be equal. So it is going to be a false statement. E is false. Okay, this was A, B, C, D and E. Okay, going with the fifth one in here, the F1 in here, it says all rhombuses are kites. Yes, all rhombuses can have the shape of a kite. सेम कहानी है. जैसे a rectangle cannot be a square but a square can very much be a rectangle. The same way a kite can't be a rhombus, okay, but a rhombus can very much be a kite. This is what we understand. So all kites can be rhombuses. They will be a, they can be a, sorry, all rhombuses can be kites is what we understand in here. F. G1 is all parallelograms are trapeziums. No. Parallelogram means two parallel sides it will have. This one is parallel to this one is parallel to this one. Whereas in trapezium, you have only one parallel side, this one. Okay, so it is again going to be a false answer in here. What is it going to be? It is going to be false. Why is that false here? Why? Because a parallelogram has two, sorry, opposite sides parallel. Opposite sides are parallel. Parallelogram are trapezium. No, my mistake here. Parallelogram can be a trapezium. Why? I can convert it into a trapezium pattern. हाँ, मैं इसको बना सकती हूँ trapezium. क्यों बना सकती हूँ मैं? एक पैर को मैं I'm picking up this line, keeping it here. Picking up this line, keeping it here. These two lines, I'm putting it like this. A parallelogram can be a rectangle, very much okay. A parallelogram can be very much be a square, okay. Parallelogram can very much be a rhombus, very much okay. A parallelogram can very much be a trapezium. It can be a trapezium as well. Okay, my mistake was here that I considered it should not be, but it is true. The answer for this one is true. After this, we have the last one for the true and false, which states that all squares are trapezium. Yes, in what is the condition for a trapezium? One, at least one side should be parallel. So here you have one side which is parallel, or else you can also take this side to be parallel. So one side is parallel, at least one. So here it can be a trapezium. So square can also be a trapezium is what you understand. So this one is also a true statement. Okay, going to the second question, it says identify all the quadrilaterals. Now there are conditions given और मुझे उनका shape identify करके बताना है. So the first one they are saying is all four sides of equal length. Very much we know it. इसका क्या हो जाएगा? All four sides have equal length. तो क्या हो जाएगा? किसका हो सकता है आंसर? It will be a square. Square के अंदर all four sides are equal. It can also be a rhombus, isn't it? But we will consider the base one to be a square. Okay. The second one is four right angles. Okay. It is saying that it has four right angles. अब क्या हो जाएगा? यहाँ पे if I consider the first one, I'm considering the first one, I said square and rhombus, isn't it? Because they have all four sides equal. Now considering that you have all four right angles, all of them are going to have 90 degrees. So 90 degrees किसके पास है? सिर्फ square के पास है, and it is with the rectangle. Square and rectangle के पास ये 90 degrees है. Okay, that's it. Going to the next question then. What do we have in the next question is how explain how a square is a quadrilateral. अब मुझे explain करना है ये जो square है, square why is it a quadrilateral? Quadrilateral because it has four sides. It has four sides. It is a parallelogram. Why is it a parallelogram? It is a parallelogram because the opposite, it has two pair of opposite sides which are parallel to each other. Okay, they are parallelogram में क्या है? Two opposite sides are parallel to each other. Okay, and see, it is a rhombus. Why is it a rhombus? Because in a rhombus all sides are equal. All sides have equal length. Okay, they all have the equal length is what we are understanding here. Okay, so we can say a square is going to be, a square can be a quadrilateral. Fine. Why? Because it has all four line segments. Parallelogram because opposite sides are parallel and equal. अब यहाँ पे दो conditions बता सकते हैं. Opposite sides are parallel to each other. खत्म. Two pairs are parallel to each other. Next is opposite angles are equal. अब सारी properties जो भी पता है वो सारे लिख देंगे. Isn't it? Opposite angles are equal. Angles भी equal है. ये भी घुसड़ रहे हैं हम लोग. And क्या हो सकता है? Adjacent angles sum up to 90 degrees. Adjacent angles sum up to 180 degrees. ये भी डाल दे सकते हैं. Next one, rhombus क्यों कहा जाता है? It is considered to be a rhombus because it has opposite all sides are of equal length. Another thing is opposite sides are parallel. Isn't it? Rhombus में भी तो यही होता है ना. The opposite sides are parallel to each other. The same way opposite sides are parallel करके हम लोग यहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं. Okay. So that's how we are doing with this question. Then the C one, it is saying that explain how a square can be a rectangle. Oh my god, it is asking कि एक square कैसे rectangle होगा. Hmm. Okay, square rectangle इसीलिए कहा जाता है because it has four sides. First of all, four sides है इसके पास. Four sides में two opposite sides जो भी है, opposite sides are equal. Opposite sides equal length के हैं. Not just considering all four sides are equal, हम बोल रहे हैं सिर्फ opposite sides are equal length. They measure, all of them measure 90 degrees. All the four angles that are there in a square and a rectangle, they sum up to be 90 degrees is what we are understanding here. Okay, so these are pretty much it that we have for these particular questions. उसके बाद it says explain how a square is a quadrilateral. No, this is done. Name the quadrilateral whose diagonals bisect each other. Now third वाला है, ऐसा quadrilateral बताना है मुझे. Quadrilateral diagonals will bisect. Diagonals bisect किस किस के होते हैं? I am very much aware. Okay, square के bisect करते हैं, rectangle के करते हैं bisect, and parallelogram के bisect करते हैं, isn't it? So we are aware कि किस किस के bisect करते हैं. Okay, so the diagonals bisect each other. Parallelogram, square, rectangle, and also a rhombus के भी होते हैं because rhombus also has somewhat similar properties है उसके पास भी. Okay, उसके बाद पूछता है कि are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Okay, perpendicular मतलब जब हम diagonals बनाते हैं they cut each other at 90 degree angle. Again, जब ये cut each other होते 90 degree angle पे, this is only possible for a square and a rhombus. Okay, जो rectangle है, rectangle के they are coming like this. So not this, here you will not have a 90 degree angle. Okay, it is not possible to have a 90 degree angle. So only for square and rectangle the diagonals are bisecting each other. Okay, and they have an angle of 90 degrees in between them. So they are cutting each other at 90 degree is what we understand for the B part. Okay, C part, let's go, or the third part if we go. Okay, diagonals are of equal length. Equal length किसके है? Equal diagonals. Equal diagonals किसके किसके है? Equal diagonals मेरे पास सिर्फ स्क्वायर एंड रेक्टेंगल के, मतलब फुल लेंथ दोनों की इक्वल रहना. स्क्वायर में भी फुल लेंथ इज इक्वल, स्क्वायर एंड रेक्टेंगल के ही वी हैव द डायगोनल्स आर इक्वल इन लेंथ. ओके, नेक्स्ट वन क्वेश्चन क्या है? इट सेज दैट नेम द फोर्थ वन इज डन. एक्सप्लेन वाई अ रेक्टेंगल इज अ कॉन्वेक्स क्वाड्रिलैटरल. ये नहीं पूछा जाएगा वाई अ रेक्टेंगल इज अ कॉन्वेक्स क्वाड्रिलैटरल बिकॉज इट डज नॉट हैव अ कर्व्ड शेप. All the lines or the sides of the quadrilateral are connected. All the sides of the quadrilateral of the square of the rectangle uh, are connected, and there is क्या कहते हैं, डायगनल्स जो है उसके वो इंटरनली होंगे. अगर मेरे पास ये शेप होता, ओके, एंड वन एंड टू अगर आता, तो ये एक डायगनल होता मेरा, ये एक यहाँ से यहाँ पे भी एक डायगनल होता मेरा. सो दिस डायगनल वुड बी एन एक्सटर्नल डायगनल, इजंट इट? मेरे पास सपोज करो दिस इज द शेप दैट आई हैव. दिस इज अ क्वाड्रिलैटरल, 1 2 3 4 साइड्स है. एक डायगनल ये हो जाएगा, एक डायगनल ये हो जाएगा. सो दिस इज एन एक्सटीरियर पार्ट में है ये डायगनल, इजंट इट? सो we are saying here, if because it has an interior diagonal, रेक्टेंगल के पास दोनों डायगनल्स इंटीरियर होने की वजह से इट इज़ कॉन्वेक्स. अगर कॉन्केव होता, कॉन्केव अगर होता, ये भी कॉन्वेक्स ही हो गया. कॉन्केव अगर होता तो एक डायगनल एक्सटीरियर होता था करके हमको पता चल रहा है. सिंस इट हैज़ बोथ द डायगनल्स आर इंटीरियर, डायगनल्स कहाँ पे है? डायगनल्स आर ऑन द इंटीरियर, दैट सेज दैट दे आर कॉन्वेक्स quadrilateral is what we understand. Okay, next question is ABC is a right angled triangle, and going to the sixth question in here, it says that ABC is a right angled triangle. Okay, and O is the midpoint of the side opposite to the right angled triangle. Suppose karo ABC is this and O is the midpoint of the side which is opposite to the right angled triangle. Okay, Now explain why is O equidistant from A, B and C. This is A, B and C. अब इधर से वो equidistant क्यों हैं पूछ रहा है from all the 3 points, from this point to this point and this point. Why is it an equidistant one? Now here what I'm going to understand is, अगर मैं इसको यहाँ पे एक्सटेंड करती हूँ और B एंड C को मैं अगर एक्सटेंड करती हूँ, then it forms an equilateral, it forms a rectangle. Okay, extending, if I'm extending B and C are extended, जब मैं इन लोगों को extend करूँगी तो they meet at a point D. Okay, meet at D हो जाएगा ये, and when they meet at the point D, वहाँ से if we consider OB is equal to OC and OA which is equal to OD. Okay, when all of these are equal, does it not become like a rectangle? Okay, rectangle की वजह से, since it forms a rectangle, all of them are going to be equal. ये question नहीं पूछा जाएगा examination में. There are much better questions to ask for the people, so they will be asking those questions in the examination. That brings me to the end of this chapter.